What up, guys? Mad Scientist 7A90 here, your favorite wrestling shooter and hip-hop enthusiast. Now with this one here, not going to be a copper drop, but it is going to be a hip-hop video. And what I decided to do here is, you know, throughout the year, you know, I do the copper drop videos, and usually I'm not able to catch, you know, or get everything that I can possibly listen to in enough time, or I, you know, never heard about it, or, you know, somewhere through the grapevine I hear about it later and then the month's already over. What this is going to be is basically, you know, a list of albums or mixtapes that you guys should definitely pick up. There's no reason for me to do a drop on this situation because it would just be stupid. But most of these albums here, underground albums, the reason they, you know, I didn't review them or I didn't talk about them in my other copper drop videos is because you know, I hadn't bought them yet, or I hadn't listened to them. Normally, when it comes to mainstream albums, mostly mainstream albums, I don't really give a shit about paying for them, because most of the time they're not that good. They're really shitty. You know, with the exception of maybe a couple songs on an album, or maybe occasionally there is a gem in the mainstream. But for the most part, with underground albums, I usually like to wait until I can actually pay for them. Usually once a month, if I find a couple things that I've heard are good, I'll buy them. With this, I got kind of antsy because I had heard about quite a few things, and I haven't had the money to buy any of them. So I listened to a lot of these albums I'm going to mention here online. Eventually I will buy them, because some of these albums here are totally dope, and I would love to have a physical copy, or at least download them when I get the money to. But I do want to throw these out here, some albums that you guys should definitely check out. Yeah, I'm not really quite sure what I'm gonna call this, but you know, I'll think of a title once I, you know, get this video done here. But first thing I'm gonna talk about here is definitely check out Bumpy Knuckles and DJ Premier's album here, the KoleXXXion, I believe. It's got like 3 X's in it. I love DJ Premier's production, and formerly known as Freddie Fox, you know, Bumpy Knuckles. I first heard about Bumpy Knuckles through the grapevine, and it sounds really like cheesy to say it, when I wasn't really hugely into underground hip hop, through John Cena. You know, had done a track with him before, and they had, I guess, apparently hooked up and you know, done a couple things. And I'm a huge wrestling fan, so that's how I first heard about him, when I heard, you know, Bumpy Knuckles was on this, and I really like his flow. And DJ Premier's production, you know, it is what it is. It's always been that classical 90s style production, and you know, it's never going to change. But this was great here. There was a couple of tracks on here that really stood out to me. I really like Word Is Bond, was a standout track for me. I really like that. And then Turn Up the Mic with featuring Nas. When Nas just jumps on there and he's like, "I'm nasty, but fuck bitches," dude. That was, and then he went into his whole verse, was disgusting. Nas jumping on a lot of people's tracks this year and as features, and made me as a Nas fan just check out somebody's whole album, even if I don't like them, just for his feature. So Nas is definitely one of those guys. He's definitely one of my favorites of all time. So, but this right here is definitely something I would say you guys should definitely pick up. Like I said, a lot of these underground albums I am willing to pay for because they're good. They're worth the money that, you know, they're really worth the because the quality that a lot of these underground artists are putting out, and the content is very good. And somewhere down the line, I'm going to buy a lot of these once I get an influx of money here, and income at least. But next thing I'd say, check out K-Rino's Deeper Elevation. I heard about this guy through the grapevine a couple years ago, on a couple tracks. He really reminds me of, I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, of Cannabis. I don't know why. I just get maybe it's his voice, his flow kind of reminds me of Cannabis. The only thing that really bothers me with a lot of K-Rino stuff is I really don't care for a lot of his production. I don't know any of the producers on this album here. Lyrically, this was great, but I'm one of those people that, you know, and almost just like Raz-Kaz in prior mixtapes and other stuff he's done, you know, even if you're just a great lyricist and you can just rhyme for hours and days on and, you know, forever, you still got to have some kind of production. You know, behind the music, and his flow is always good. But just, you know, this is good here. I would say pick it up just for, you know, K-Rino's rapping. Like I said, I really didn't. I mean, I thought the production was okay, but I think the rapping itself makes this a pickup. And if you like Cannabis, you've never heard of K-Rino, I think K-Rino kind of sounds like Cannabis. That's just my opinion. But, you know, a couple standout tracks: Spiral Vortex, The Champion, 2 tracks that I really liked. So, yeah, definitely check that out. Next, another thing, an album I actually just listened to tonight. You know, and I had been planning on listening to it for a while, and I finally just sucked it up. I wanted to wait and buy the digital copy, or, you know, digitally, or I wanted to buy, you know, like I said, a hard copy, but I just never did. So I just listened to it on YouTube. Chief Kamachi's Rise and Rhyme Volume 1. I don't know why I just kept putting off listening to it, and I shouldn't have, because this is top notch. This is great. This is one of the best albums I've heard all year. Chief Kamachi just he just shreds it, and the production on this is great. You know, man, Third Lecture was one of my favorite tracks. Bulletproof Auroras, and then Hood Symphony. 3 tracks that I really liked off of this. I really like Chief Kamachi's flow. I don't know, he's just one of those guys, like, apart from, you know, that clique he runs with, that, I guess it like Army of Pharaohs or Demigod, whatever group that he rolls with. On his own, I like his single albums on his own, him by himself. And this right here is a top 5 album right now. It's really hard to say. It might be in my top 3. I want to say a lot of these albums here, and like I said, I'm a huge fan of Underground. Most of these things I'm going to tell you on here are the best albums I've heard all year. So this is, you know, definitely one of, you know, the best ones, and I would definitely say check this out. It is phenomenal. Next, okay, this next guy I heard about just this year, actually, I want to say like a month ago, and I like his, you know, playful kind of poppy sound. But I think what people got to realize about hip hop is, you know, yeah, your thing may be listening to people who just go hard 24/7, and you know, that's that. But to me, I do, that's fine. But there's times where I like to just sit and just vibe and chill to some cool, just like poppy hip hop music. Like there's a difference in doing it right, and there's a difference in being, you know, doing it like Nicki Minaj. And the guy I'm going to talk about here, his name is, I believe it's Soul or Saul, you know, MC out of Seattle. The reason I came across this guy is because, you know, I got turned on to Macklemore, and, you know, another guy, Grinch, who's in the kind of the same area as these guys. And he dropped an album here called Yours Truly, and I know this is probably this thing is, if anybody's heard it, this thing has got probably a lot of grief, just because it's got a real poppy sound to it, and the production is real poppy. The lyrically, he's pretty solid, but I don't know, just like I really like the chill vibe that this guy comes off, like just a dude that you just hang out with at a barbecue. Like if you've heard this song, This Shit, which is a really cool, like, poppy rap song, which I really like, you get what I'm trying to say. But the track on here, the single that stood out, which actually they made a video into, was 2020. I really liked his flow and the production. But like I said, there's just albums, like there's a difference in hip hop, like just having it as a whole, and it being done right. Like, I don't mind having, you know, poppier songs in my hip hop, you know, as long as it's done right, as long as it's lyrically done right, and the music is still kind of good. Like, I'm okay with it, and I enjoyed this for the most part. I would definitely say pick this up. This is a free download. Just go to his website, you know, and I believe it's just soul.com or saul.com or whatever it is. You can probably find it on YouTube. I might see if I can find a link. Next, this pretty much this album here, completely 110%, for the most part, is just for the production, and I pick up everything that these guys do because I love the production so much. And that's Blue Sky Black Death and Nacho Picasso, Lord of the Fly. Now let me explain what I think about this. The interesting thing I think about this album here is because Blue Sky Black Death, a lot of times nowadays in hip hop music, you know, I don't really think just instrumental albums get over that much with people. Like, there's always got to be somebody rapping, someone doing this, someone doing that. I think Nacho Picasso is a subpar MC on great production, which allows it kind of helps both parties. What I mean by that is that, you know, Nacho Picasso has an interesting sound. His lyrics are kind of, you know, punchliney, you know, and that's his deal. And he's got an interesting name. People are like, oh, this is a guy. He's got a weird name. Let's check him out. But it gives Blue Sky Black Death's, you know, production a really good chance to breathe. On a lot of these tracks, that's really what it is. Like, it's just a subpar rapper on outstanding production, and it really gives, you know, since, like I said, a lot of people don't just go out and get instrumental albums anymore. They have to have, you know, a rapper or an MC on something. So I think this works out in the favor of both. Do I think Nacho Picasso could do anything better than, you know, this? I don't really think so. This is okay lyrically, but production-wise, it's a definite pickup, because if you've never heard of Blue Sky Black Death, some of the greatest, in my opinion, instrumental albums I've ever heard. So I would definitely say check that out. Next, I'm going to give a shout-out to Underground Vault here for this one. You know, I never heard of these guys at all. I never really kind of stray out of the American realm of hip-hop music. But Hilltop Hoods, Drinking from the Sun. You know, these guys are from Australia. I never heard of these guys before. Or at least, I'm not really quite sure if it's numerous guys or not. But I liked this. I really did. Once I got over the idea of, like, the accent, whoever the MC that has, like, the real strong accent, I really dabbled into the actual music behind this, the production, and the lyricism of you know, these guys is really solid, and I really like this just as an overall project. I thought this was definitely a top 10 quality album so far. I would put this in my top 10. I wouldn't say, I don't know, I wouldn't say top 5. I still, just for some reason, I have that just nagging, like, just accent that in my head that just for some reason I don't like, but the music is so good that I kind of just see past it. That may be my only downfall on this, but I really thought this was good overall, and I would say pick this up if you guys can find it. Australian hip-hop, some really good stuff there, if you can get over the accent. Eventually I think I'll be okay with it. But next we got Gift of Gab, the next logical progression. Wow, you know, I really liked Black Alicia's Blazing Arrows album. It was a really cool track. Some of the most interesting production. The flows from these guys. Gift of Gab, mostly, I really, really liked. So when I heard this was coming out, I was really excited. It's only 12 tracks, stays under 40 minutes. Really quick, just good listen. I don't know. This is a really, really good album. Like, production, lyrically, it's really hard to say this isn't, right as of right now, quite possibly the best album of the year, or anything, you know, hip hop wise, except for the next thing I'm gonna mention after this. But it's that damn good. You know, this is what real hip hop heads could dabble into, and I really like. There's a couple tracks on here. I know I really like Rise. Thought Rise was a really cool track. Shit, there's so many other ones that I thought were really good. Just the way that these came off is so everything fit really well together, in my opinion. And this is a definite pickup. I'm going to for sure buy this because I liked it that much. I don't want to have to keep going back to, like, YouTube and listening to, you know, tracks, but I'm definitely going to buy this whenever I can. And then next, finally, which I could say, you know, would be an argument against Gift of Gab, Blackastan's The Master Builder Part 2. You know, I'd heard a lot of stuff about this guy through the grapevine. I never heard any of his stuff prior to this coming out. I, you know, looked up some of his stuff when I heard this was coming out. Loved it, absolutely loved it. So I had high expectations for this, and it delivered. It really, really delivered. There's a difference. The only difference it just is a lot of tracks on it. A lot of it was like 22, I believe, and you know, I don't know. This was just dope. Like, it's really hard to explain like how good this is if you've never heard this guy before. This guy can straight go. I think my favorite tracks on here with Nothing to Lose was Self-Title. I'm a huge Self-Title fan. Love Self-Title. So that was great. I know Sharif, the bank teller. This has a lot of great storytelling aspects. I'm a huge fan of the storytelling aspect in hip hop. Kingpin, which was another storytelling track that I really liked. But between, you know, Blacastan, Gift of Gab, and Chief Kamachi's album, those three are quite possibly the three best albums I've heard all of this year. I know I said in my previous Copper Drop video, you know, I have kind of like a mood hip hop deal, like I'll go through spurts where I'll want to listen to like just flat out just underground raw, like just hip hop, and there'll be times where I'll just want to hit, like, I have a real open mind when it comes to hip hop music. Like I like, you know, some stuff Wiz Khalifa does and Mac Miller, you know, and stuff like that. Like, I like just chill albums, and then I like how albums with just dope bangers on them. You would just you're riding your whip to, and then I like raw shit like this. When it comes down to the end of the day, the shit that really stands and through the time through the year, and I go back and listen to more and more are the underground albums like this. You know, Werewolf, some of the stuff, you know, I have Action Bronson pretty high. I'm a huge fan of him on my list too. But Werewolf, the Mac Miller stuff and the Wiz Khalifa stuff that I liked, you know, previously, you know, through the year slide down. I feel like a lot of this stuff, the more I listen to it, the better it's going to get. But yeah, I would definitely say check out all of these for the, you know, basic specific reasons I said. And yeah, you know, I definitely say support underground hip hop. Like I said, if it's mainstream, I'll download it for free. Like, you know, I won't pay for any of that garbage. A lot of it's garbage, mostly. But when it comes to this underground stuff, I will be willing to pay, you know, $10 for these albums, because they're damn well worth them. The price that, you know, they're putting out, they're cheaper than the mainstream albums, and they're 100 times better. So I'm gonna get out of here, guys. I'm the Mad Scientist 7890, your favorite wrestling shooter and hip hop enthusiast. Check out these albums. I'll link them. Well, I won't link them, but I'll put them in the description below you guys to check them out. I'm sure there's not downloads, but places to buy them at least. So I'm gonna get out of here. Deuces.